SuperSorrell thrive. With action figures from every age, join us now, turn the page. From the big screen to the small, it's Geek Week, the podcast of the year. Join the fun with laughter and cheer. Toys collecting and tales from the past. Tune in now, the good times will last. We dive into movies that make us dream, with memories like a childhood theme. TV shows that caught our eyes, let's collect the moments and rise. Like, share, subscribe, don't miss out. It's Geek Week, the podcast of the year. Join the fun with laughter and cheer. Toys collecting and tales from the past. Tune in now, the good times will last. Like, share, subscribe, don't miss out.
Hello, we are live.
Hello.
Welcome to the Geek Week with me, Jacob's Toys, and of course the wonderful one and only SuperSorrell. If you're watching live, like some of you are, we'll give some shout outs in a second. Please do comment along. We're going out across a bunch of different places and channels and stuff. So throw your comment in the comments box. And even if you don't see the other comments, we'll do our best to throw them up on screen so that everyone's conversation kind of keeps going. However, if you are watching on catch up, like we know a lot of you do, Mr. Sorrell, what is it they need to put in the chat?
Use the hashtag catchupgroup.
Amazing, amazing. This is episode 186 of the Geek Week. First one of 2025, isn't it?
Yeah.
First one of 2025. Last week was the one before New Year's Eve, wasn't it?
Yeah.
No, this is the second one.
No, this is the second one of
I don't know. It's all been a blur since going back to work. So it's all good. It's all good.
It's the world's mightiest action figure podcast. So crack open a bit. No, wrong channel.
Wrong one. We are talking about 2025 in preview. Last week we did a 2024 review. We're doing a 2025 in preview, but we do have some big news. Should we do the big news now? Should we say?
Big news.
Let's do the big news. Very quickly before we go into our big news, we've got Duran Mammoth, SuperSorrell goat. I'm saying you're the greatest of all time, not just calling you a goat. I mean,
Maybe it could be either or with my
that
channel.
would be a bit harsh, wouldn't it? But it's either a really good compliment or a really bad insult. But yeah, Joby One is in the chat as well. Happy to be off work for an episode of Geek Week. Hope everybody's doing well. Andy Roberts, how's it going, gang? Hope you're all well. Start with the click. Shelley's in there as well. We've got, let's scroll. John Hood's in there as well. Let's have a look. There's loads more comments. I will keep up. Fuzzy Dunlop's in the chat as well. Good evening, Fuzzy Dunlop. Let's go to our big news because I'm excited. Are you excited?
Yeah, very excited.
I'm excited as well. We got a little video. Hang on a sec. I think it's coming. I've got to put 50p in the meter.
The following announcement is brought to you by the Geek Week. Please stay tuned and don't touch that dial.
Hello. So are you listening? Good. So we have some big news to announce.
The Geek Week has been going strong now for 186 episodes, which is pretty good, right? Well, that news makes me feel all warm and fuzzy on my naughty area.
Since the start, we have had countless guests from various different social media channels and toy brands. Some have even returned for a second, and in some cases, even a third appearance.
Ryan, as in Ryan Speaks Geek, he even stayed on as a third host for around a year. He was referred to as our good friend Ryan.
After his departure, Jacob's Toys and SuperSorrell continued as they started, as a dynamic duo, each week focusing on a different subject or hosting even more guests.
And we really have to firstly thank you, the followers and the fans, for tuning in each week, joining in the conversation and helping the show grow.
But as a new year approached, they both agreed that something else was needed. The show needed to move to the next level, and so something new was needed.
Ooh, this is the exciting part.
So what could they add to help the show grow? Would have to be something good, right?
Or someone good. Someone to join the team as a new host, a full-time member, and official part of the Geek Week.
So it is our pleasure and our privilege to say that we have found that person. He is someone that regular viewers will recognize from his various appearances in the past,
we are proud to welcome none other than Triple G Comics to the team as our new third host.
Wow, that's just swell. Triple G, I love that guy. Mixed with these two is just going to be great.
Triple G Comics, officially part of the Geek Week as a third host? Oh, I'm touching myself tonight.
So here it is, the all-new Geek Week. Let the games begin.
So there you have it. Your new official lineup for the Geek Week from 2025 onwards: Jacob's Toys, SuperSorrell, and Triple G Comics.
Yeah, okay, you guys, I'll admit that this is pretty cool.
Sorry, the Beetlejuice followed by Deadpool broke me.
Triple G Comics, officially part of the Geek Week. Welcome.
Well, hello there. Well, now I have to say that's the first time I've seen my little kind of cartoon emoji thing there.
I know.
I think you got my essence. Yeah, I like that.
Good, didn't he? He did good. Our little guy that does it. I got in touch. I was like, we need a third one. We need Triple G. We've completely blown the budget that we've made in 186 episodes on all them celebrity appearances. So that's it. We're now back to the beginning. No, so Triple G Comics obviously joining the Geek Week officially as a member of the team. This is awesome news. Welcome.
Fantastic. Over the moon that is, Aston. I love the show. You know that. I've loved being on the show. So this is really exciting. This is cool.
You know that Pete's requesting that Beetlejuice clip at the end. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Triple G, I love that guy.
There we go. Just very quickly, JB1 said, yo, let's go. Andy Roberts, let's go. Triple G. Start with a click. Yay, welcome, Triple G. Andy Roberts again. And what a video. How awesome was that? Jack Addison Cinema. Bethany Beth. How much paying him? Good old Beth. JB1, great announcement video. Bethany Beth, loved the video. John Hood, fantastic news. I will get to some of the other comments in a bit, but yes, this is very awesome. So obviously, Triple G, you're no stranger to the show anyway. So it felt only appropriate to kind of open the door and go, welcome, join the team. So this is cool. We're a triple act again. This is awesome.
Yeah. Gonna be fun. And you guys talk about all the same stuff that I love. So this is gonna be great fun. Can't wait to get into it.
Wicked. So yeah, 2025 in preview. Let's talk. After that, where do we go after that? Like Nicholas Cage.
You know what I realized this week? How polarizing my reading has become. I picked normally I just read comic books, but I picked up books recently, and how polarized this. So I'm starting again on the Harry Potter series because I haven't read it since I was a kid. But my other book to go alongside that, Lad Baby.
What the hell is that?
So I mean, sausage rolls and Harry Potter. What more do you want?
Lad Baby is they're that couple that made all the Christmas number ones.
And all the Christmas, they're a YouTube couple, and it's like their story, and apparently there's how they did it within the book, and there's all talk about what they did and all that cool stuff. So I thought I'd give it a read.
Amazing.
But so far, 90% of the book so far has been about them boasting that they got Elton John on a record. That's basically all the talk's about so far.
Nice.
Yeah.
I don't blame them.
Pickup wise, you guys had any cool pickups this week before we get into the show?
Yeah. I tend to pick up a bit of stuff. Nice to see Fuzzy in the chat. He's all right. Thanks, Fuzzy. Appreciate that, mate. Fuzzy's one of my guys from over my channel. He's a nice book. Fuzzy, you might want to avert your eyes because I'm going to show some dolls. I thought I'd stick with toy-based stuff, guys, to show off this week.
I did say if you're only going for toy-based stuff, I saw that commission monsters cover you got.
Phenomenal. Absolutely amazing. So there's a story with that. So the lovely lady, I met her at Thought Bubble, and she took it away to Spain because she didn't have time to do it at the con. And then she messaged us and said, look, it's been ages, so I'm going to do you a full spread instead of just the one cover for no extra price. I only paid £100 for that.
Wow.
I mean, that's obscene. Absolutely obscene. But I'll show you some dolls. So I'm sticking, I love my vintage stuff. Look at that.
Oh, wow.
Nice. Look at that. So that's the vintage She-Ra. Not often you get one that's as complete as that. She's only missing a few little items like a hairbrush
Is that an actual vintage one as well,
Yeah,
not
yeah,
like
yeah.
the recreation?
No, this is the original. I only tend to do originals. You get
That white is very clean for a retro figure from the like
Yeah.
what 80s. That's nice.
Yeah. So got
That's
them.
awesome.
So they're quite nice. They're quite nice.
The She-Ra figures always frustrated me because I was a massive He-Man Masters of the Universe collector, and I enjoyed She-Ra. Like the crossover episodes, going back and watching it as an adult, it's so much better than I remember. But the figures always frustrate me because they were slightly different scale, weren't they, than the He-Man ones? So.
So I don't remember having many of the original She-Ra figures. I was more Masters fan,
Yeah.
but I know I think I had She-Ra herself, but I didn't collect all the other ones. Someone in the chat's just asking if that's the Super 7 Godzilla. I can't remember. Sorrel, tell us. You got this one as well. Is it Super 7?
That's the Super 7 one, yeah. Because the SH figure ones have all got the break. All his back would be like articulated. That's just the basic 5 like POA style. So that's the.
I've showed you this guy before, haven't I? Boglin, original Boglin.
Yeah.
Original Boglin. Nice.
Oh yeah. So speaking of original stuff, every now and then I have a bit of an episode where I think of something that I had when I was a kid and I just have to get it. And I reckon Jacob's gonna have had one of these. This was top. If you had one of these when you were my age as a kid, you were like the dog's bits. Do you know what I mean? You were the
Just before I admit whether I had it or not, you're saying that I was a cool kid.
Yeah, cool kid. That's what I'm saying.
I'll take it. I don't want to see what the figure is. Like,
Did you have one of these? So again, original. This is anybody that hasn't seen one of these. This is I'm saying original. This is not the proper Japanese one because they were expensive. These were knockoff ones your parents got. So this is a digital watch, but it's a transformer.
Yeah.
So these guys were, these little head turns around there. Little hands come out. I remember having this in the classroom and absolutely loving it. So I just got it into my head that I had to have another. I had to have a one. So I searched over good old eBay and managed to pick this one up. I haven't taken them apart yet to see if the digital, if it needs a battery, if it'll work. Because if it'll work, I'll wear it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah. So got that. And I got a load of comics as well. Do you guys want to see comics or you?
Yeah, we do comics. Jacob's getting back into his comics. Obviously, from our chats before, I'm a big comic fan, so always bring comics.
Yeah. So, good friend of mine, who's an artist, did this for us. This is a Skeletor.
Wow.
This is rather nice. This is Ian Richardson, who's a stunning artist. Lovely, lovely guy. But he did that, a good old Skeletor for us. Lucky Devils #1 foil. That's an interesting story. That's quite a cool one. And then I went a bit mad for. Have you guys heard of 8 Billion Genies? Great series. Been optioned. Only 8 issues. Really interesting read. Got 2 copies of that. Basically, one day on Earth, everybody's got their own genie, and you get one wish. And it's about how that plays out. Now,
that's cool.
Sorrel, I know you're a horror man. They did a variant for this, and I had to get it. So do you know what the link is between that one?
No.
As you wish. It's the Wishmaster.
Wishmaster.
Yeah, so they did a Wishmaster issue as well. So
That's cool.
Loved them. Had to pick them up. And I've just finished reading, again, a recommendation for people, Geiger, Volume 1. This is by Jeff Jones. It is phenomenal. Current series is out, but I hadn't read the original run, so pick this up. Absolutely loved it. This is a stunning little read. So recommend people pick that one up as well.
Nice.
So there you are. That's my pickups.
Nice. I must admit, after going to the Tim Burton exhibition a couple of weeks back and seeing all of his original artwork and stuff, I really want to kind of pick up some of his stuff.
Yeah.
Just because I knew he was an artist anyway, on top of everything else that he does with the movies and stuff. But some of the artwork was just mesmerizing. And seeing the original stuff. I didn't have that watch though. I did want it, and one of my mates had it, but I just couldn't get hold of one.
That's my childhood. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of my collection is these days. It's just stuff, nostalgia stuff,
Yeah. I'm talking about retro. I managed to secure they're not the original ones, but I managed to. They're kind of retro because they came out in 2020. But the Kenner Ghostbusters.
Oh yeah.
On card where Hasbro did the re-release. And I've kind of ifed and butted about them, but I managed to pick up a set, so I'm getting those next week, and I'm an out of box collector, so I'll be ripping those open and displaying them. So that's all
very
good.
cool. Very cool.
Sorry, you're gonna like me for this because I actually went down a rabbit hole this week.
Oh, which rabbit hole's gone down? Oh, it's a pot box.
No, wait.
Yeah.
Pete, wait here. Wait. Bear with me a sec, right? So these are the comic book.
Oh, I like
Comic cover ones.
Yeah.
Right? So it's a display box, right? And a comic book cover.
Yeah.
So it's not an actual comic book, but I just thought I could get rid of this silly little toy in here, like get this out, throw that in a bin, and use this as a really good display. So I'm gonna customize it and put flames up inside it and everything, and probably use like a Mezco or a Legends or something like that.
If you were able to track down the comic that is in that box and replace the backing art with the actual comic with the Funko Pop in the box, that would be worth a small fortune, my friend.
Yeah, probably. But the only thing I've noticed
right now it would be.
The only thing I've noticed is that there's a hole in the back of the box where the Funko's kind of attached. So it's kind of attached through the back. But I'm going to use them as a bit of a custom project. So because it's a nice little solid box, and considering these come in at about 15 quid, they're you would pay that for a box anyway. So I thought that's cool.
Yeah.
So I grabbed a couple. So I got that one as well. So I got the black suit one.
Oh, nice.
And they're cool little Funkos, but it's not my jam. So I'm just going to use the cases. So that was a rabbit hole went down a little bit for Sorrell. And then I did manage to get a couple more of these guys. So I got the Groundskeeper Willie, Mo from series 2, which is very cool, and Lusa. So I've now
Where are you getting the series 2 ones from? Because I'm struggling to find them anywhere.
I'll tell you. You read that?
No.
There you go.
No, I didn't really do.
These are on Amazon. These were on Amazon at the same retail price as picking them up in a store. And then a series 2 one. So I've now officially got every one that's out. And they've announced series 3.
3 and
well.
4. 3 and 4.
Oh, is it 3 and 4 they've announced?
They released 2 on. Well, there were 2 showing on Toy News International today. 2 waves.
That's pretty cool. Bethany Beth said, JT, which card back variants are you getting? Ghostbusters. I don't know. I can't remember, to be fair. One of them. I was like, yeah, I'll have those.
Well, I picked up because it's in Smith's right now. These are discounted as well. So because Halloween's officially over, Smiths don't want the horror stuff anymore. So you can get the Exorcist Reagan for 10 quid. So I grabbed Reagan.
Nice.
Can't beat me, Reagan. I can never say that one. Dilophosaurus. It's the fossil. It's the fossil one. So it's like a fossilized dinosaur.
Oh, right.
Kind of cool. I like that one. Cool. So I grabbed them. But the piece de la resistance for this week. Oh, Toxic Crusaders.
I saw that. That's cool.
This is the modern recreation. This is Trick or Treat Studios. But the lovely people over at Mad About Horror gave me the hookup on this one. It includes Secret Glow in the Dark slime, apparently. But I'm hoping that they're going to still have Dr. Killermoth in stock to complete the two little figures from this wave.
Nice.
So I would love that one as well. But yeah, these are by Trick or Treat Studios. But it's basically just the recreation of the original. It's 5 away.
Well, it's crazy that the movie materialized. It got filmed with the one with Peter Dinklage. It just never. I don't think it ever came out. Did it over here?
No.
Yeah.
Have you ever watched the original Toxic Crusader?
Years ago. Yeah.
They are messed up. But they are really messed up. Yeah, it's just they did. I sat down to watch them, and there's about 4 of them, isn't there? There's quite a few of them, and I was just kind of like, yeah, this is messed up.
I watched the original at HorrorCon about 2 or 3 years ago now. Because they do screenings at the one at Sheffield. They have like films on during the day, and the Toxic Crusader, the original one, was one of the showings, and I sat and watched it.
I get very confused because I'm not up on Toxic Crusader and all that kind of stuff. But there was the original movies, and then there was kind of the cartoon version, and then there was the Marvel Comics version.
Yep.
But it all seems quite different. So some of it's quite, like you say, Jacob, quite rough.
Like when like the release Dumb and Dumber and Ace Ventura, and then Cartoon Network picked up a cartoon for kids. It's the same sort of thing. Like the Beetlejuice cartoon is nothing like the Beetlejuice movie.
Yeah.
Same sort of thing. It's just they picked it up for kids who were bright and colourful. They could sell toys. They could release a cartoon. Done.
Yeah.
It's one of them kind of things.
It was. Well, I mean, the cartoon I remember watching quite fondly, and then I watched the movie, and I was like, "Wow, this is this is not what I expected. This is not what I signed up for." But I remember the original toys as well. I had quite a few of those, and there was a geezer with like a massive nose, and slime came out of his nose or something like that. But I was talking to my friend a little while back, and I think we've talked about this on the Geek Week, but slime in toys, like whatever happened to that? Because like as a kid, like everything had slime. A decent figure or a decent toy line had something with slime, whereas nowadays they seem to really shy away from it. Like,
no, it's still there, but like you've got to get like Treasure X, or it's like I've got some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I can't reach them. Can I reach them? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Here we go. I've got 4 of these. These are home bargains for £1 now, by the way. These are my Treasure X, and it's the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and it's the sewage pipe. And basically, to get the minifigure out of it, you've got to fish through the slime to get it.
Yeah, but it's not the same. Like,
no, it's not the same as like as a kid. It was like ooze and stuff. These
the Ghostbuster Firehouse, for example, like that was a rubbish playset. The whole sale point of that was the slime that dripped through the different floors, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I remember the Masters of the Universe. Was it the slime pit? Where it was like the skull, which was great, but the slime used to go into all the joints of your figures. And it was awful. And I made the mistake of putting good old Moss Man in there, and it totally destroyed that figure. But yeah, I used to love the slime pit. Absolutely loved it.
It was I used it on what's his name, the Beast Man, and he was ruined. He was all matted and just ruined. But it's the Masters play sets though. Some of those were incredible, like the bone collector case thing, which just that was nothing more than just like a carry case, but it was sold like everyone had it. Everyone had that, and that was like a big thing. But yeah, I don't know. And there we go.
Fuzzy's just saying in the chat there, the Toxic Crusader movie with Peter Dinklage couldn't get distribution. It's bizarre when they've spent all that money on a film and it just goes nowhere, isn't it?
You'd think in this day and age as well, like Shudder or somebody would have picked it up by now just to show it, like Amazon or something. There's some right crap on Netflix. You think they'd pick that up?
Yeah. Andy as well has also said that I have almost a full set of the original toys from Toxic Crusader. That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. Bethany said there's a Super 7 Toxie which comes with slime.
Super 7 have just done the second wave as well with the dog one. A dog, like cop or something, I think it is. They've just finished that wave, so I was very tempted by that one. But honestly, it won't scale with the stupid trick or treat one now. I have to pick up another Toxic. Damn it.
Pad Bear J said, if you think Toxic Avenger stuff is messed up, then you need to rewatch Peter Jackson's Bad Taste or Brain Dead. Have either of you seen that?
I've seen both of them years ago, and they are I don't know how to describe the movies because it's not horror as such. It's just weird. Do you know what I mean? Like it's very graphic, but it is just weird stuff.
Yeah. Connie also said Slime Pit sounds like a sensory nightmare. It was the best. They were the best toys. I remember as well. Which was the play set that had the snake, the rubber snake?
That was Snake Mountain. Snake Mountain.
No,
Snake
one.
You had a rubber snake. That's my rubber snake, and you had the voice changer as well on it.
Yeah, that was the Snake Mountain. But there was a smaller one, and it was like a cave, and you had like a rubber, or not a snake as such, but like a dragon mouth it was almost like a little right angle, and you put your hand in. And I've seen them on eBay and stuff, but the puppet has just kind of deteriorated. I'll find out what it's called. And I'll show it. But yeah, there we go. So 2025.
I don't think you get play sets like that anymore. Do you know what I mean?
It's sad, isn't it?
Horde Lair.
See, that's the one I never had. That's the one I never had.
You know what? The thing is, they keep I know Polly Pocket has just gone through a rebrand again, and it's now back in the girls' aisle at Smith's. Where's Mighty Max? If you're gonna bring back Polly Pocket, come on, bring back Mighty Max. I think that's selling this day and age as well.
My youngest daughter got a load of Polly Pocket this Christmas.
Yeah,
it was Horde Lair. That's what it is. Master of the Universe, Hordak, Evil Horde Lair. And it's like a kind of a cage with like a tree, and then like a rubber.
Oh, so they redid that play set. Was part of the latest series of Kevin Smith's Revelations. So there's a scene with Skeletor Hordak on top of that, I'm sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Great series, actually.
Yeah, I really like that. I really enjoyed it. But yeah, no, my youngest daughter started picking up Polly Pockets this Christmas. That was what she was into, and I said exactly the same. I was like, Mighty Max has to make a comeback. Like it's just for the standard kind of boys alternative, like the fact there is so much Polly Pocket being churned out now, and I think that'd be quite cool because they were quite basic back in the day. They weren't very detailed, were they? They were cool, but they weren't very detailed. So I think they will. I think they'll make a bit of a rebrand.
So
the Polly Pockets at the minute, they're making a killing out of the collector market, aren't they? Because they've released the Addams Family one, the Stranger Things one, there's a Harry Potter one. They're going to town on the licensing with that thing already. It's like they've already got like 4 or 5 out in a very short space of time.
Yeah, 100%. So 2025 in preview.
Go on. Before we move on to 2025, before we move, I know neither of you two probably watched it, but I mean WWE's moved on to Netflix this week. Amazing, absolutely amazing.
Yeah, we didn't.
Although that first episode of Raw was not for me and was not for any wrestling fan at all. It was made for people like you guys that haven't watched it in 30 years, and it was all about, look, we got a new ring with a Netflix logo. Ooh.
Did I hear? I mean, the only thing of interest for me with the wrestling was, did Hulk Hogan get booed off the stage?
Hulk Hogan got booed out of the building.
Did he actually make a comeback?
Yeah, so he was there to sort of like promote the fact that wrestling's come a long way since being like a circus act and now being on Netflix. They were making a big deal out of showing like the history of the wrestling as a business, to the fact that it's come all this way through television, cable television, now to modern streaming services. And they were sort of saying like Hulk Hogan was there, but he was there to promote his beer. He was not there to, he was not doing any like, everyone else was genuine and doing the whole, it's been 30 odd years since I was in the ring, but it's awesome to see it on Netflix. Hulk Hogan came out and was like, all right, Hulkamaniacs, Hulk Hogan's here with his beer. And as soon as he said that, the entire crowd just booed the crap out of him. It was too much. But the Rock was there, John Cena was there, and they're all entering the Royal Rumble, which is on the 1st of February. So even if you're not a fan, it's going to be worth watching that just for the amount of appearances that are going to be in it this year. Because they're going to go, it's the first pay-per-view that Netflix are covering. You're guaranteed they're going to put some right matches on that card.
That'll be a circus act, won't it? Will be a circus act. But no, I haven't watched it. I haven't caught up with it. I've got too much other stuff.
Mate, it's John Cena's final year. You're not going to see John Cena again after this year. You need to watch wrestling.
You can't see him anyway.
Can't see him anyway.
No, there's too much other stuff on telly at the moment. Like Skeleton Crew, I'm like really loving Skeleton Crew.
I still need to catch up on that. About 2 or 3 episodes like behind now.
It's
what do we think he is then? What do we think Jude Law's character is?
I think he's just Jude Law in
Jack
space.
Sparrow wannabe.
But he's using the Force and stuff, isn't he? Or he's using a semblance of the Force.
Yeah, and he had a saber this week as well, didn't we?
Yeah.
Saw a lightsaber properly.
I think he might be a Force sensitive, but has never been trained. I'm going down that route. That he might be a kid of the Force from like the time of the Jedi falling, but hasn't ever been officially trained by anyone. He's just kind of learned his way as he goes.
Yeah,
that'd be a cool story because he can't be that he's another surviving Jedi of Order 66. That just gets a bit silly after a while. So it's got to be something new.
Yeah.
I don't know, because obviously if he was evil, he would have become a Sith, wouldn't he? He would have like moved over to the dark side or whatever. But yeah, I can't quite. We lost Sorrell completely. I am. He's kicked a wire out or something. No, I can't figure it out. I really can't figure it out. I just wondered whether he was maybe just because of his kind of like he's like a pirate and all the rest of it, whether he's just kind of picked up a couple of tricks, because we haven't actually seen him do much more than move some things around.
Yeah, because at first I thought it's going to be kind of escaped away by saying it's magnets, or he's not using the Force. He's using like something else, But I don't know. He's done it too many times now in different ways that it's like, well. It's got to be the Force in some way.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's strange.
I don't know. One thing for sure, though, I'm absolutely loving it as a TV series. It's just brilliant, and it's showing a completely different side of Star Wars, and quite refreshing, to be fair. Like to have something kind of different. Another one that I'm loving at the moment is here we go. There's a couple of theories going in. Joby One said he scrapped and pirated a low-key Force using his way to get by. Shelley said maybe he's injected with extra midichlorians, giving him the Force powers. So yeah, I mean, there's a couple of things. One of the other things as well, I don't know if you're watching this, Pete, but is Dexter.
Oh God, I love it! I love it. So I wasn't sure on the first episode, and I was a little bit negative, thinking, "Oh man," but I've caught up now to like the latest episode. I'm all in. I'm loving it. Absolutely loving it.
You know what? See, I was the opposite. The minute that intro started, and yeah, because the minute the intro started and it was almost frame for frame, I was like, there's attention to detail being put in this. And I think the people that they've cast as the younger versions are perfect. Like they are perfect. And what I really like about this, and I was explaining this to my friend that hasn't watched Dexter, is that this isn't a prequel series. This is essentially series 11 or 12 or whatever, because
it's flashback, isn't it? It's a big flashback.
Yeah. So you've got the main bulk of Dexter, which is I think seven series or something like that. Then you've got the New Blood, then you've got the Deadly Origins, and now after that we've got the next series of Dexter coming. But I'm absolutely loving it. Like,
But have you heard they've also commissioned now? There's going to be a Trinity Killer series spin-off, exactly the same style as this, with John Lithgow doing the voice.
Yeah,
but I think that's great. I mean, I think
it's brilliant. He was one of the best villains with by far. Like, sorry, I'm surprised you're not all over Dexter. Like, it's
mate, I was all over Dexter in the 90s when his sister was blowing his experiments to smithereens. You know what I mean? And ooh, what does this button do? Different kind of Dexter, but you know.
Yeah, I think you're talking about the laboratory, aren't you?
I think I'm talking about a laboratory.
Animated version. Yeah. So I didn't bother with the wrestling because I was like, I've got too much else going on.
There's so many. This thing is right. Everyone goes on about this TV series, that TV series. Because obviously I don't know. I was born in '89, so I mean, I didn't see Sopranos till years after it aired. I watched like Supernatural after it aired, like because I was too young at the time when it officially came out, and then it was too far into it to go back. So it's like it's not until all these streaming services come out that you kind of go back and go, oh yeah, that was a thing. That was a thing. And this Dexter's one of those that I think it came out 2000s, and I was probably a bit too young at the time. But now to go back and sit through it is like 14 odd seasons long or something daft.
So I did that with Game of Thrones. I didn't watch any Game of Thrones, and by the time people were talking to us about it, I felt it was too far gone. So I waited until it was done, and then during COVID, we blitzed the entire thing. You know, and loved it. There's a danger with that, but so I went back and tried to get my kids into Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yeah,
and sitting through the first season was hard.
Rough.
It was rough, you know, and we gave up. To be honest, it was like, whoa. It hadn't aged well.
I had that first season on DVDs. It was one of the first DVDs I kind of went out and bought myself. And I remember like the box set opened up into like a crucifix. It was really cool.
Yeah.
But I watched it to death. And there's one episode where they obviously only had like 5 extras, because every time there's a scene change, there's somebody in like a blue jacket or a red jacket or something, and you see them walking in a different direction. And it's like, it just shows you how like low budget it was to start with.
Yeah.
Talking about TV series earlier on, Shelley said, have you seen that all episodes of From season 3 are available on Sky Max this Tuesday?
Oh no, I haven't. I've seen season 1 and 2. Season 1 and 2 are amazing. So I've been patiently waiting for From, but I'm also patiently waiting for Superman and Lois season 4. I think we're on to, because I haven't seen the last season yet. That's great. I'm excited about that.
I'm absolutely loving that, and I'm just getting to the end of season 3 now, knowing that we got season 4 kind of as a conclusion. But From was a really good TV series. So the fact that, you know, I've been patiently waiting for that, but I hadn't seen anything about that. So thanks, Shelley. I didn't know that was out. So that's another thing for me to watch this week.
I knew it had been out in America. I've heard good things about this season. But yeah, it's one of those ones where it's a bit of a head scratcher, isn't it? Because it reminds us a lot of Lost. And I lost my faith in Lost by about season 2 or 3. So I'm hoping this maintains the excitement, but doesn't get too bogged down with the craziness, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So could we just go back and I mean, Padbear Jay in the chat has definitely got it down to a T about how this guy survived Star Wars. He's the Padawan that survived Anakin's attack on the temple. He was in the loo at the time. And had a bad case of the runs.
Quite possibly.
That is the Disney Plus series we need right there. The guy that's hiding in the toilet going, I'm just going to stay in here a minute.
So 2025. Let's talk 2025 because there is lots going on. There is lots.
I was just going to add that I love that little kid's face in episode. Sorry, I've had a few drinks now. I'm a bit wild, but I love that scene in episode 3. You know that bit where that little kid goes, "Mr. Skywalker, what should we do?" That poor little
It's
kid.
graphic. Yeah.
He died first.
It's
Anyway,
intense.
sorry.
It is intense. 2025. Jack Addison. Sorry. Generia. Dear, oh dear. I'll kick it off. Joby One straight away said, speaking of 2025 in preview, as a Black Series collector, I know. I'm hoping since media releases are slowing down that we'll get some interesting deep cuts. Looking at you, Nienum. I don't know who that character is. Is it that deep? But I don't know who that is.
Ninedub is the little. He's the guy in the guy in the cockpit. The little pig. I want to call him Pigman, but he's not a pigman, is he? He looks like a little piggy nose thing.
Oh, okay.
You know how I mean when I say that, though, don't you?
Yeah.
So it's him, Ninedub.
I'm just a bit over Star Wars myself. Like I'm a Star Wars fan, but I don't know.
I was completely over Star Wars until Skeleton Crew.
Yeah.
The last few TV shows just, and it's really hard because I'm a what I would class as a casual Star Wars fan. I love the movies. I've done Star Wars Celebration and all that kind of stuff, but I'm not kind of in depth into the lore and all that kind of stuff. So a lot of my friends who are kind of what I would call Star Wars kind of massive fans were all kind of dead excited about Ahsoka and telling us how much I should love it because this thing showed up and that thing showed up. And it was just like, yeah, but the overall show is just cack. It's just not doing anything for us, you know? So yeah, I was kind of lost hope a little bit until Skeleton Crew came along.
Yeah, I was all in with Skeleton Crew the moment I heard the words werewolf pirate in space. I was like, that's all I need to know. I'm sold at those words.
You need to watch the latest episode.
Oh yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
If he's your favorite, you need to watch the latest episode. I don't know. I won't lie. When Mandalorian came out, I was kind of like, "Oh, this is exciting. This is new," and all the rest of it. And then I think we just got overkill. And then when it got to kind of Book of Boba Fett, and he came out kind of riding on top of a what's it called? Oh, what are they called?
Rancor. Was it a Rancor?
Rancor, yeah. He came out riding the Rancor. I was just like, no.
See, I didn't mind the Rancor riding. It was the kind of the mopeds, multicolored mopeds, and and Boba Fett, who I'd always assumed was this badass character, didn't know but sit around and mope. And it was just a weird series, that one.
Yeah. For me, the Rancor riding was just, it would be the same as having Ian Malcolm coming out on the back of a T-Rex. It was kind of like, no, it doesn't work. Like, you know, the Scooter Gang, JB1 said, yeah. Some people really love the Scooter Gang, though.
I didn't mind that, to be fair. I didn't mind that.
I don't know. I just, after there was too much. And like you say, with Skeleton Crew, it just feels like something different. But I don't know. I feel that Star Wars is very much damned if they do and damned if they don't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, so
I did enjoy Andor. I'll give them that. I thought Andor was very strong.
Andor was good. Andor was very good. Jack Addison said, "Let's not forget naked Boba fighting BK in the sauna." Yeah. That was all kinds of fetishes going on, wasn't it? That was all sorts of fetishes going on in that one.
Oh God, Fuzzy. Yeah, I tried to block that out of my mind. That was horrific.
Yeah, it's almost like they just kind of had like an idea tank of like, right, let's take this thing and this thing and see if we can make it work. Like, let's take parkour in a forest and just
But it was just how poorly done it was. Do you know what I mean? How silly it looked. It was. Yeah.
You just needed that sound on TikTok of the guy going parkour over the top of it.
I was thinking of the American Office when I watched that scene. Parkour. Yeah. So 2025. What things are you guys looking forward to the most? What's kind of on your kind of hit list?
Going to Liverpool Comic Con with a big net and finding Denise Richards.
They've got some cracking guests coming this year. I mean, every time.
Liverpool is awesome. The lineup's mental.
Yeah. Yeah, there's lots. So for me this year, outside of kind of movies and TV and stuff like that, I'm definitely trying to get to more cons. I've decided over the last year or two that that's where my passions lie, going out and meeting other people and having a few drinkies, dare I say, and then doing the con and having a look around. So I'll be doing a lot more of that. Toy-wise, I know, Jacob, you're the same as me. I'm a 1/6 scale collector. And I feel we've kind of hit this really interesting point in 1/6 scale where we're starting to get more comic related characters now, and that sounds silly, but we've got an awful lot of MCU figures or DC movies figures, which is great. They've got the likenesses and all the rest of it. But I'm a comic book fan by heart, and we're now starting to see more proper comic book figures, like a Ghost Rider and things like that. Do you know what I mean? So that's got me very excited. I'm waiting on a few figures coming in, so I'm looking forward to seeing them. And then
I was trying to
movie-wise,
think of
there's
what I'm
loads.
waiting on. I was trying to think on what ones I'm waiting on, because the problem with 1/6 scale is that, you know, it, like anyone that collects 1/6, like the pre-orders and the kind of announcements go up like years in advance sometimes. Like, you know, you're waiting for a long time on a figure, and I've kind of lost interest in kind of pre-ordering and waiting, and more just kind of trying to pick things up that are readily available. So it's kind of my collecting's kind of switched around a little bit to, okay, I know this is coming in a year's time, but I'll think about that in a year's time, because, you know, I think it was the first Tom Holland Spider-Man that was just delayed and delayed and delayed, and I was kind of like, this is taking too long. Like, I'm kind of over it. And by the time it turned up, I was over it.
That's the thing with 1/6 scale figures. It's the length of time is just so so if you look at, say, in Eternals, we're just now starting to get some of the Eternal figures. One, who wants an Eternal figure? But two, do you know what I mean? It's like, really, that's like a film 3 years ago or something.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still waiting on my in-art Batman from the Batman movie, which has just been delayed again, the movie, which is crazy. I'm waiting on a Beetlejuice. You know, and there's figures that I know I've ordered 2-3 years ago that I haven't got a clue if they're coming, when they're coming, and they'll just turn up. You know,
Andy just said in the chat that he had an email from Sideshow over the weekend saying his Beetlejuice is due to be sent out tomorrow. So there we go. So maybe the Beetlejuice is on its way.
That's the other thing about being a 1/6 scale collector. And also Bethany, I know, is the same as me. She's got the Cat's Lair on order. I understand why these big companies have to put figures out in waves, but it's so flaming frustrating when I can see people got their Batman from 5 months ago, and I'm still waiting on mine, and I've ordered it at the same time, but I'm caught in wave 3 or whatever releases. That really irritates us. And I know, like I'm saying, Bethany, you'll have no doubt seen lots of people in the States now have got their Cat's Lairs, and I haven't even got a hint at when mine's coming. Same with the Beetlejuice. I know a lot of people have got the Beetlejuice already in hand, still waiting on that. So it's frustrating.
For me, the frustrating one last year was the Ghost Rider, because the pre-order went up for that, I think, tail end of 22. And you know, it's due to go out in the summer or whatever it was, and then it didn't. And then what really annoyed me is that they then start popping up on eBay before I've even got like a notification email, and it's kind of like, this is really frustrating, because I could buy it for the same price that I paid for it in, like, you know, straight away. But
So just in Beth's comment, a few wants get in my cat lair. So that just tickled me. A few wants get in my cat lair. I think we need to go back and figure out when the cat, because we announced the cat lair when it officially got announced. We talked about it with Ryan back on the show. And I love the fact that it's still not in people's hands in the UK. I love it, and it's still ongoing.
I don't think I had any grey hairs. I think my beard was fully dark.
The saga of the Cat's Lair continues. We talked about it when it was a pipeline dream that Super 7 wanted to produce. It's been so long.
Fuzzy's just saying in the comments there as well, seeing how many times Blade gets pushed back. That's just become a bit of a joke now, isn't it?
I think it's officially cancelled now, isn't it? Isn't it officially cancelled yet?
I don't think it's just crackers. I kind of,
You know what? Like, say what you want about the Deadpool Wolverine film. It was nothing more than an over the top cameo fest, mock it itself. Do you know what I mean? But it was good to see Hugh Jackman in the full cow and everything like that. But the one thing it really did for me was it made me not want a Blade film. Like, just sort of seeing Wesley Snipes one more time was kind of enough. And I was like, actually, I don't want this character to be kind of redone.
Yeah. What did you think? There was a bit of news this week, wasn't there, that apparently approached Nicolas Cage to come in as Ghost Rider, and he turned them down?
Yeah, there was supposedly they were in talks with Ben Affleck at one point about Daredevil. There were talks here with Ghost Rider as well, and there was one more as well. that they supposedly spoke to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know whether he would have fit though. I'd love to see Nicolas Cage's Ghost Rider again, but I'm a huge Ghost Rider fan anyway, and
I would still
anything
love
Ghost
it.
Rider.
Yeah, I've always said I would still love it if they brought him back just to pass the Ghost Rider mantle on to the next kid who's going to play the. It doesn't have to be Johnny Blaze's
Right.
Ghost Rider. It could be. I mean, I think the obvious thing is to pass it on to I forgot his name.
Reyes, is it? Robbie Reyes or something?
Yeah, the Robbie Reyes character, because it's the more modernized version, and just have Johnny show up and basically have the mantle passed on, like the ghost thing leaves one body into the other. And Robbie Reyes becomes that character. That'd be the cool way of doing it.
Yeah.
Like doing the nod and the run and all that.
It's one of those. It's one of those characters that also lends itself to that. It's almost like the Doctor Who kind of regeneration element. With Ghost Rider, they could pass that mantle very easily. Like give Nick Cage his fee. Speaking of Nick Cage as well, in that video, it made Nick Cage look like he was being held hostage. But I quite liked it. Like actually pass that mantle over.
Have you seen the latest Ghost Rider?
Which the
one with roller boots and pigtails?
Oh yeah, I thought we meant movie for a second.
No.
Yeah, I don't see, like even to the extent where like the Strange Tales wave, I picked up that Marvel Legends wave just for that Wolverine, because I was like, I want to put him on my Ghost Rider shelf. But I don't want them to go down the Venom angle with Ghost Rider and just make everyone a Ghost Rider. I really liked the one that Taboo wrote. I really liked that Ghost Rider. I forget her name, but there was a Native American Ghost Rider that was a really cool story arc, and I like all that. But I don't want them to take loads of characters and just turn them into Ghost Riders.
I completely agree with you. That said, there's a very cool version out at the moment. Is a World War II Ghost Rider on a kind of motorbike, which is very, very cool. I like him a lot.
Which I don't mind that. I don't mind other versions. I don't want them to make everyone. I don't. We've had Wolverine now.
You're about like a cameo fest, that is, and they don't turn Gwen Stacy into it at some point, and you know what I mean, like random characters like that.
Yeah. But it's just one of them characters. It's just a very cool character, and I remember the pop that I got seeing the Caretaker and reading like all that kind of side of it, and it was just kind of like, a cowboy Ghost Rider. This is cool. Like there we go.
Phil's saying in the chat there, Cosmic Ghost Rider. Have you guys read much Cosmic Ghost Rider?
Cosmic Ghost Rider is awesome.
That's
absolutely
Punisher, isn't it?
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Is that one you've got to hand?
Oh, nice. Very nice. Yeah.
But then again, right? Here we go. I'm gonna throw this up now. So this is the figure that we got.
Oh yeah.
Right. Very, very simple addition was your little Lego chains, because obviously in the comic he had his chains on and the figure didn't come with them. And it was like, for a couple of quid you get some Lego chains and you make him a little bit more comic book accurate.
That looks cool.
You're welcome. There we go. Flaming Mammoth Ghost Rider is awesome. Ghost Rider on the Mammoth is sick. Yeah, I completely agree, and I like all that kind of side of it. I'd quite like to see like a caveman-esque Ghost Rider, like even earlier than the Mammoth, like something a little bit more primitive. But there, I don't know. Just quickly going to the chat, John Hood said JT recommended from, and I'm looking forward to season 3. See, look, this is like a nostalgia episode. We're going back to one of our earlier episodes. I did recommend from. The cool thing about From as well is that I think it's been long enough now between season 2 that I'm kind of not forgetting what happened, but it's not. it's there's been enough of a gap that I'm kind of excited for. What
absolutely.
Jack Addison said they should have introduced Blade early on into Disney Plus when they were bringing the Horror Street level stuff.
I think they've massively dropped the ball on this. I think when they did the Halloween special with Man Thing, that, unless I'm massively wrong, I think that's probably one of the most popular things Marvel's done in a long time. Everybody seemed to love it. They should have had, for a couple of years, every Halloween you get a different kind of Tales from the Crypt kind of Marvel entry, building up to a big release of the Midnight Suns or something like that. Bring back Blade and all that as the mentors who can have a bit of action now and then, but mentor in the newer generation. I don't understand what happened with that? It
I wasn't
started
opposed to
and
them.
ended.
I wasn't even opposed to them recasting Blade at that point, because if they were going to go the whole hog, go for it. I mean, I said to Jacob back when that came out, all they need to do now is a follow-up where it's black and white again, but introduce Blade in his first appearance in the green pants with the afro and shit, and then go have him storming Castle Dracula with Abraham Van Helsing and all that stuff, and have the Dracula story with Blade involved. That introduces Blade to the MCU very quickly. Everyone knows who Dracula is. You don't need to go into that. Everyone knows what Dracula is. So it's just a quick introduction to Blade, and then he's in the MCU, just like Werewolf by Night and Man-Thing. You're starting to build that portfolio, and then every Halloween, like you say, they just needed a new one of these black and white, quick little 50-minute things, and just keep introducing little characters, and then just blast out a Midnight Suns TV series. And that's where you could have introduced your Robbie Reyes Ghost Rider and had like Magic from X-Men and just like the game they released. It's all the younger ones. It's all the younger versions of the characters. So it's Magic, it's Robbie Reyes, Miles Morales, Spider-Man, and introduce the younger generation of characters ready for the Avengers, young Avengers that they're clearly working towards. Those characters would only support those young Avengers roles, in my opinion.
Just a bit of a quick plug here for anybody that's watching who are comic book fans. Magic issue 1 came out last week, and it's probably one of the first times I can recommend an X title recently, because normally the X titles are horrendous, but Magic 1 is really, really good, very strong, good lot. Lots of horror, and it's back to our kind of dark child form. Really, really cool.
Nice. But see, that's another one. Like New Mutants. Like, I thought that had legs. Like, and they should have taken that. I enjoyed it, and they should have taken that and turned that into a TV series and sort of done more stuff with that. I just don't feel that they've fully utilized the MCU television side. Like when Disney Plus first came out, they started strong with things like WandaVision and Loki and stuff, and it was cool because we were getting these stories that we wouldn't necessarily get as a movie given to us as a TV series. And
but that was the entire point, wasn't it? Because do you remember it was either last year or the year before when they made this big kind of hoo-ha about Marvel Spotlight. This is going to be where we're introducing new. I don't think have we had any other than Man-Thing. I don't think there's been a Marvel Spotlight since. It's
no. And Werewolf by Night as well. I remember I actually spoke to the Legends guys across a couple of the conventions when Werewolf by Night came out, and I was like, "How comes we've not had any like merchandise for it? Like, it was one of the biggest things." And fair enough, we've had a reissue now of that Man-Thing in a Werewolf by Night kind of packaging, but it's only a reissue. And I was like, you're missing the trick that you could have done like a black and white, like a grayscale 2-pack, and cleared up, because even just casual Marvel fans were kind of, fans of Werewolf by Night. And like you say, the opportunity to kind of do that kind of street level horror genre around the Halloween time was there. Like, and they
Fuzzy's right. The Echo was the Spotlight debut, wasn't she? And that was a canny little series as well. But again, I don't think we've heard, unless she's going to show up in Daredevil when that's out.
Yeah, she's coming out. She's going to be in Daredevil as Echo. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But then even then, she was in what was she in originally?
Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Which was great. Bless him, Jeremy. We've got to do a sequel to that.
Yeah, I watch that Hawkeye series pretty much every Christmas. It's like it's kind of like I'm just really frustrated because obviously the final parts of that take place at the Rockefeller where the Christmas tree is, and the end of Spider-Man, you see him swing through past the Rockefeller at Christmas, and I was like, how hard would it have been to have had people fighting on the ground at that point, just so that you could go, oh look,
that would have been very cool. Yeah.
But it's good. I'm really annoyed as well because obviously I go to New York in a couple of weeks, and they've only just taken the Rockefeller tree down on the 10th, I think it is. What are we on now? So it's down. So I'm going to miss it by like a few weeks. But I did see, I don't know if you guys saw this, but Arnold Schwarzenegger was spotted at the Rockefeller filming for his what is it called, Man with a Bag Christmas film for next year. There's something very cool about seeing Arnold Schwarzenegger in like a Santa-esque suit. Like, I'm looking forward to that one. That's going to be very cool. But I don't know who else is in it. I just know that Arnie is the Santa-esque character.
What more do you need? It's Arnie.
No, that's all you need.
Yeah.
Exactly. He just looks like an old man with a hat on. It's just
he is an old man with a hat.
It's still Arnie. He's going to be Arnie until the day he goes. So there we go. Jack Addison said it feels like they were building a universe well on Disney Plus, but then they got afraid of using more niche characters and just gave up.
100%.
Yeah. And it's
we're supposed to have
as well. Go on.
Yeah. I was we're supposed to have a Nova series announced, haven't we? So that's supposed to be coming next. That'll be interesting.
Yeah. Is Wonder Man a TV show? Is that a movie?
Yeah, TV show.
Wonder Man's TV show, yeah.
Isn't it? You know, hopefully there's hope yet. But it's things like we were saying a few weeks ago about What If. Like, you know, that seemed to be going strong. Yes, there was always the odd episode that weren't as good as the others, but then they just stopped it after 3 series. No reason, no rhyme or reason, just stopped it.
Crackers.
But there we go. So movie-wise, we were talking movies anyway, weren't we, before we came on? There's quite a lot coming out in 25.
Yeah, heck of a lot.
I know we touched on a few last week, but there's obviously a lot more. I'm just having a look at the list now.
From a Marvel perspective, it's Thunderbolts. I think that's got me most interested.
Thunderbolts I'm very excited for. The one on the list that you shared earlier on that I hadn't noticed, Predator Badlands.
Yeah, Badlands.
Have I been under a rock? Like, when was this announced?
That's a follow-up to the one they did last time. The last sort of, like, what I forgot they called it.
Prey?
The Native American one. Yeah, it's a follow-up to Prey, basically.
Oh, right, okay.
There's an animated one out as well, isn't there? I can't remember what that's called. Yeah.
And The Running Man, is that a remake of the old Arnie one?
So I think that's a remake, yeah. I haven't heard much about that, but so it's I'm surprised it's out next year if we've heard nothing about it leading up to it, you know. Now You See Me number 3, I think, is out next year. I'm quite excited for that because I have enjoyed number 1 and 2 of those.
Which one?
Is it Now You See Me?
Yeah. That I really like those films. I really like them films. It'll all be about who is in the lineup though for that, because the things that made those films for me was the lineup. I think some of the others we will copy. We cover.
What's the original? It's the original cast coming back, I think.
That's good.
So that should be interesting.
But you know what, toy wise as well, like I don't know. There isn't anything that's actually like.
Well, hold your horses, because we are 2 weeks away from Toy Fair London, where we know that a ridiculous amount of toys will start to drop. Then it's Australia, then New York. So we are coming up to Toy Fair season, where we will get a ridiculous amount of news very quickly. And then obviously you got to think it's still January. We've still got the whole year ahead of us. We've got it's London, then it's Australia, like I say, then New York, then we head into Comic-Con season. So we're going to start seeing a lot of stuff very quickly. This year, have you seen who's at London this year? London one is... I'm regretting not going now. I'm really kicking myself.
Which one are we looking at? The summer one or
No, London Toy Fair.
Toy Fair.
Yeah, it's at Olympia in about 2 weeks' time.
Yep.
And Jada Toys are there, Hasbro are there, Bandai are there. The big hitters are all there this year. Playmobil, Lego. It's ridiculous the amount of people that are going to be there this year.
Yeah.
Jada Toys is going to be there showing off all the Scooby-Doo stuff. They're gonna have the Street Fighter line, but that is complete now. That is complete, done and in the bag. They're just waiting for the months to pass so they can release the figures 2 by 2. But they're starting on the Scooby-Doo line now.
Right.
Okay.
Which I'm really excited for, because they showed off about 4 of those at San Diego and they looked amazing.
So I've never been to one of these big London toy fairs. Have you guys been to them before?
I've been to London Toy Fairs. It's a trade show technically, but over the years they've introduced, like, they allow influencers to come. All you've got to have is like a minimum subscriber count of like 5,000 followers or something, and then you can basically create a badge and go around. And it's all the PR people that are there, so it's like the PR team from Lego, Hasbro. And basically, you have to get an appointment for each booth. It is a bit of a ball ache, but it's worth doing. Because I went a couple of years back, and I was gutted that I couldn't get the big ones. You're like your Hasbros, and they didn't really care about me back then. But Playmobil, of all people, gave me a shout, and I was like, I'll come see Playmobil. And they had at that time they were just releasing the DeLorean and Scooby-Doo, so I got to see all of that before it came out, basically. And I was able to film it and talk to this lady was talking me through it. She goes, "Do you want to review the DeLorean now?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Hell yeah, baby. So I got like first dibs on the DeLorean and stuff. So it is a really good show to go to. Like Funko are going to be there. I know you guys aren't really big Funko fans, but Funko release about 200 new figures at that con, at that event. Every year they have a massive release of stuff.
So it's more of a kind of a show in terms of there's not much to buy.
No, you can't buy anything. There's nothing to buy at all. There's nothing's for sale. It's like Bandai are there, and they're basically wanting people like us to go that are creators and talk about, oh, these figures are coming in 2015. This is their lineup for the summer season or whatever. It's more of a trade show and a PR event more than anything.
Okay.
But it's fun. It's a lot of fun. If you're a big toy nerd like we are, it's just an opportunity to go geek out for an entire day with other like-minded creators.
No, it's one I was due to go last year, and something came up, and I wasn't able to make it. And then I had all intentions and purposes to go this year, and then it just didn't work out either. So I don't.
Yeah. Like the year I went, Bandai brought they were celebrating. It was the whole anniversary thing for Batman at the time. And they had like one of the Batmobiles. I think it was the Batman Forever Batmobile that was there, and they had like a dude dressed as Batman, and it was a lot of fun to have that. You photo take it with the Batmobile, and then obviously they were like, "Do you want to come look at all the toys that are coming out?" I'm like, hell yeah! So
it's very cool. It's very cool.
Yeah. Bethany Beth said, "Blind Bag the game coming soon." That'd be quite cool. Is this a thing? I don't know. Or is this an in-joke? John Hood also said that Badlands is set in the future.
Yeah. We've talked about this a lot on my channel, because that Predator movie, Prey, for me was great. I really, really enjoyed it. But it's such a simple premise that you could have tons of Predator movies going forward, just doing exactly the same mock-up, really. Stick it in a different time period.
Places, yeah.
Predator versus samurais, Predators on pirate ships. Predator, you could anything, because they've been visiting work God knows how long.
Yeah,
you could just have it that could be the franchise going forward. I think it would be tremendous.
I would love to see one in like a World War II kind of. Can you imagine how?
Well, that's what I thought Badlands was going to be originally, because we chatted about this. We thought Badlands was going to be World War II-esque or something like that. Yeah. But apparently it's some kind of sequel to Prey. So I'm not quite sure, but it is set in the future apparently. So I don't quite know what the crack is with that.
I don't know. Jack Addison as well said in the chat that why the sequel to Now You See Me was called Now You See Me 2 instead of Now You Don't. That would have been aesthetically on like your DVD collection. That would have looked really good. Now You See Me, Now You Don't. What would the third one be though? So, and Paddy said in the chat as well, are you guys seeing Wolfman next week?
100%. Absolutely. Cannot wait for that.
Wolfman's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it looks amazing. It looks amazing. Yeah. Have you guys seen Nosferatu yet?
Not yet. No. I still need to see it.
No. Okay. Have you seen it already?
Yeah, interested to know what. Yeah, I'm not going to spoil anything, but interested to know what people thought of it, because it's mixed. I think.
I've heard it's quite detective.
Yeah.
Oh, I've heard the ladies are liking this movie. It's quite detective.
Yeah. I don't. You know what? For me, vampires start and end in the 80s with Lost Boys. Like that to me. You never got as good, and you'll never outdo. Like it was Lost Boys. Like that.
I don't know. Fright Night for me is the peak vampire.
Okay. Fright Night to me would be a close second, but Lost Boys will always. There's something about a greased up guy playing a saxophone while vampires run up and down on a boardwalk.
I had the absolute pleasure of, for the love of horror, a couple of years back, watching Lost Boys with greased up sax man and the guy who, oh God, what's he called? Is it Patrick Thingy?
Yeah, Patrick.
The guy who played.
Yeah,
I can't remember what he's called here.
It's Patrick something, but he plays Michael.
Yeah, he plays Michael. Yeah, he was absolutely superb. He was a lovely, lovely guy as well. Yeah.
I almost came to what was the convention where they had loads of them there? They had like literally like 2/3 of the cast, like last year or the year before.
The horror one. Yeah,
For the Love of Horror, was it?
For the Love of Horror.
For the Love of Horror.
Yeah,
that's one we're at. Yeah, so because he wasn't there on that night, that was the Friday night when they did the live show, but the next day Keith Sutherland was there as well.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's just amazing.
Actually, Paddy, that's another one. 30 Days of Night is actually a really good vampire film.
Yeah, very good.
Like, a really good vampire film. And I think it gets forgotten about as well.
Josh Harnett, is it? Josh Harnett?
Yeah.
Based on a graphic novel. Graphic novel is phenomenal as well.
The graphic novel was very good. Yeah, I read the graphic novel after seeing the movie. Yeah, it's just, but I don't know. But no, I haven't seen Nosferatu. I want to see it. It's Salem's Lot's out now, isn't it?
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah, not
Is
seen
it?
it.
Have you
Good
not seen
movie.
it?
Very good movie.
See, that one terrified me as a kid. It was the knocking on the window scene that just got me, and I was kind of like,
They
you know,
have managed to make the film their own. It doesn't redo any of the cheesy scenes, like the scenes that you're referring to. They're not in the new movie. It's their own thing. They've made their own version of Salem's Lot, which is, I prefer that. I hate when films try and do that, like scene for scene recreation crap.
I agree.
It was not cheesy. That terrified
Not
me.
cheesy, but
for
you know what I
years.
mean.
I was just
Right
like,
now, it's cheesy as
that
hell, isn't
scared
it?
me for a long time as a kid. Therion, Selma Hayek in Dust Till Dawn. Dust Till Dawn again.
That was on repeat on my VCR. That I'll tell you.
Did you ever see any of the sequels?
I did.
Yes.
Sadly, yeah, I did.
Love them.
A long time ago. I can't really remember much about them other than thinking, I don't think it captured the brilliance of the first one.
No.
The cowboy one where they introduce Selma Hayek as like, like how she gets there, isn't it? I love that movie. It's so cheesy. I love it.
Dust Till Dawn was one of them movies that I picked up when I was working out in America, and it was back when we had like regional DVDs and stuff like that, and I had to get myself like a specialist DVD player to just play this handful of kind of American region. But did you ever see the TV show that they did?
Yes.
No.
Brilliant.
You know what? If you've not seen it, it's well worth a watch. So essentially, it's Dust Till Dawn 1, but spread out as a show, and it just dives in, like absolutely dives in. There you go. Fuzzy Dunlop said made a TV series, and it just opens the story up, and it's done very differently. Like you say, it's not scene for scene, but it's essentially the same story. It's about the brothers and all that.
Okay.
It's just really good, like really good. But they never made any more, did they? It was just kind of a one and done thing, which I'm really surprised about.
Dust Till Dawn for me, if you look back now, like at the time when that came out, there were obviously they were kind of known, obviously, but not massively. But like you look back now, and it's like it's George Clooney, it's Quentin Tarantino, and Dan Savini, and there's so many people in that movie now.
Who plays the dad again? Harvey Keitel?
Yeah, Harvey Keitel. Yeah.
It's just an amazing movie. It's one of my favorites.
But yeah, going back to the Wolfman, you guys know, obviously, I love my Universal Monsters, but this Wolfman film, by the way, it was also directed by Lee Wannall, who directed The Invisible Man. Do we know this?
Yeah.
Are you aware of this?
Yeah.
And,
we were talking about this on my horror channel, me and James. Do you think the kind of subtly trying to relaunch Marvel,
100%.
Universal Monsters?
Universal Monsters,
100%.
yeah.
You got to think they've already done Invisible Man, which was a great standalone movie. This new Wolfman film is set at the same timeline with the same director. That tells me everything. So that there's going to be a link somewhere. And then they've already done. I think Abigail is technically part of it.
Yeah, I love Abigail.
Because they introduced Dracula then without saying it. They kind of did that whole very low key. It's Dracula, but without saying it's Dracula. So it's Dracula and Dracula's daughter. Now we've got Frankenstein announced for next year.
Yeah,
it just makes too much sense that they're slowly connecting the dots.
They put all that money, time, and effort into Universal Monsterland as well over in Florida.
Yeah.
So they're definitely doing something. I think they're just scared to announce it because of the backlash. The backlash from the last one. You know.
Mate,
who was it that was trying to do it? Who was trying to do the?
They did it. They tried to relaunch it, didn't they? With the Mummy, with Tom Cruise, and
which, to be fair, gets a lot of stick. But it weren't that bad of a film. It was all right.
You know what? My theory with this: if you took if you took Tom Cruise out and put somebody else in, I think the film would have done better.
Yeah.
But I think because he was their core, it's Tom Cruise at the end of the day, and I think if it was somebody a little bit less known, the film probably would have gone a little bit.
They missed a trick years ago, absolutely years ago, with The Mummy, with Brendan Fraser. They missed a trick. All they would have needed to do, like me and Ryan discussed it on one of our things a while back, all they would have needed to do was create The Mummy 2, but instead of being the Mummy 2, have it Brendan Fraser on another adventure, but in Transylvania, and he comes across Dracula or the Frankenstein, or just have that same cast of characters going through the Universal monster movies, and then draw them all in at the end. Even instead of, I mean, because like I wouldn't have even been mad at Hugh Jackman.
Van Helsing.
As Van Helsing, bring him back. He was all right. It's that in that universe it works. So can you imagine if Brendan Fraser teamed up with Hugh Jackman in a movie to kill monsters? Frig yeah, I'm all in. Take my money now.
The reality is, in this day and age, with the way that kind of what we're exposed to with the internet and everything like that, like I hate to say it, but monster movies aren't scary the way that they used to be.
Oh no, yeah,
and they're not gory enough, or they're not shock value enough. And I think that a monster kind of universe has to have that element of not cheese, but have that element of something a bit different to make it its own thing.
It's more adventure, isn't it? More adventure than a bit like Monster Squad from back in the day. Do you know what I mean? It's more of a jaunt, I think, than horror, as it were.
Yeah, definitely.
Have you guys seen much about the Universal land that they've built in the new theme park?
I've seen some of the images, but not a lot. But it looks amazing.
So basically, they've modernized it, and it looks amazing. So it's the daughter of Victor Frankenstein. It's his great granddaughter, and she's now the new scientist, and she manages to recreate his monster. And basically very similar to Van Helsing, Dracula comes along because he wants the gift of life. He's trying to capture that essence of how she brought life back, and he wants to bring his brides back to life. And it's about the clash of the monsters. The Wolfman's unearths itself, and this is a really cool backstory how they've done it. It's like if they did that in a modern movie, it would work because they've kind of reimagined it, and it works. It's so cool, and I can't wait to get out there to see that. The ride looks immense.
Is that it's the same place where people were kicking off because they kind of revealed what Wolfman looked like at this place? And then the trailer drops, and he's pretty much the same.
The same, yeah. So I was there when it was during Halloween Horror Nights. They put this stage up one night, and it was blank, and then the next night it said the Wolfman coming soon. And then during Halloween Horror Nights, they had the dude in the actual suit, like taking photos with guests and doing the monster thing. And the people started kicking off, and then obviously then they announced like 2 days later the Universal Monster Land was coming to the new theme park. And people kicked off that they basically revealed Wolfman like a year early in advance of his film.
Wow. Obviously I did a bit of a Freudian slip there, but Will Smith, did you see his Instagram this week?
Yeah.
About Matrix.
About the Matrix.
Wake up, Will.
Do you think there's anything in this?
Yes.
You do?
He was meant to be in the Matrix originally.
Yeah.
Passed it up for Ben in Black.
Turned it down. No, it's Wild Wild West, mate.
Oh, Wild Wild West, was it?
Oh, was it?
That cult classic that,
regrets that.
Yeah. I don't mind Wild Wild West, which is obviously a remake of an older film. He saw it as a more financially viable option, thought it was going to be a bigger franchise than The Matrix, was obviously massively wrong. And for anyone that hasn't seen it, it's on his Instagram, but it's essentially very similar to The Matrix Code, where there's like the typing and stuff, and it kind of gives you the background, as in, he was supposed to, he turned the roll down, and then it's that line from The Matrix where it's like, wake up Neo, it says wake up Will, the Matrix has you, and it's like, and that's it. It's just a little tease, but I don't know, it just seems like a really random thing to share if there isn't something in it.
There's been no other noise or talk about it, has there, that I've missed?
No, I mean, I've not heard anything about it, but I
think Will Smith's still being very careful about what he puts out these days after the slap that went around the world.
But I don't know as well how excited I am for another Matrix film. What else can they do with it? I mean, I watched the last one on the plane actually coming back from Florida, and it was all right for parts of it, but it did nothing to excite us, if you know what I mean. It didn't make us want more Matrix.
I've started re-watching them again from the beginning because I loved the Matrix. And when it first came out, and there was like the Animatrix, which was essentially like Star Wars Visions, for the Matrix. It gave you all these little animated shows in different styles and stuff that were different kind of stories from the Matrix. And the first three were fantastic, but then that last one just didn't it just didn't land. It just didn't land. It was too confusing to follow.
Yeah.
I just hope that I'm hoping it's not what I think it is, which is like they want to recreate the Matrix, but this time with Will, how it would have been back in the day if he'd have signed on to it. So it's the story of Neo through Will Smith's eyes, and then there's a dodgy tease at the end of Keanu Reeves versus Will Smith in another Matrix movie. That's where I see this going, and like giving Keanu Reeves something to do in the next 10 years before he retires, basically. But it would be diabolical, but I could see them doing it because it's both of their names together on a Matrix billboard would sell.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Can you imagine?
The last film only sold because of the fact that they included Trinity and Neo. That's the only reason that film even sold.
Yeah. Fuzzy's in your comments there, and he's listed a few films. Even though I hated Independence Day 2, I'd love to see another Independence Day entry. I'd like to see another Men in Black, to be fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you make of the Men in Black International, though?
So I tell you exactly what I thought of it, which is, well, I cannot tell you because I've seen it, but it's made that little of an impression on us. I cannot remember anything about it other than Helmsworth was in it. So I can't say I hate it. I can't say I love it. I watched it, but I don't remember anything about it.
I found it really difficult to watch because obviously the pair of them are the same from Ragnarok.
It was basically like the writers went, oh, well, that worked well in Ragnarok. We'll put the same pair in this movie and hope it works. Throw something at the wall and hope it sticks. And it didn't stick. I fell asleep during the whole movie. I fell asleep and someone kicked my shoe at the end of the movie and went, mate, it's over. I'm like, oh, time to go.
But Fuzzy's listed some brilliant ones there, like Independence Day. I loved Independence Day.
Yeah.
That back in the day, that was a fantastic film. Men in Black 1, Men in Black 2. I'd even include Men in Black 3. I think is a really nice kind of trilogy element to it. Wild Wild West at the time was cack, but I kind of go back and
I don't remember hating Wild Wild West.
I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. But going back and watching it again,
it was all right.
It's kind of become this kind of I quite like it. It's like a guilty pleasure kind of thing. Also, as well, I, Robot, I Am Legend. I Am Legend, a phenomenal film. Like I remember watching that over and over again, just because there was something very cool about it. But then there was talk of I Am Legend 2, wasn't there?
That is happening.
Filmed, isn't it?
Is it?
I mean, I feel like we've been talking about it for a year or two, that it was more or less done and dusted, ready to come out.
I heard it was
one of those. Sorry, go on.
Michael B. Jordan was supposed to be playing his son, because obviously his wife and his kid got away, didn't they? And he was supposed to be playing his son. And I don't know, but supposedly they're both in it. I don't know. But yeah, Fuzzy Dunlop said first Batman versus Superman mentioned too as well. And I remember the pop for that because obviously it's based in the future and you see this billboard for Batman versus Superman and it was like, nah, that would never happen like that. That's not going to happen. But it did. It did. And their logo didn't look that much different to what we saw in I Am Legend.
Yeah.
So the update on I Am Legend 2, Michael B. Jordan spoke to People magazine back in June of 2024 and said it's in pre-production and they're still working on getting the script up and running properly. I'm guessing after that, obviously the slap with Will Smith would have taken effect and people kind of all studios kind of pushed Will Smith away for a little while. So it's probably that was probably part and parcel of the delay, to be honest.
Joe 3B1's got an interesting point there. It's years since I've seen the original Matrix. Is that right? Is that Keanu was the fourth or fifth time the Neo event had happened?
Yeah. So when you're in the room with the...
You could have a Will Smith version then, couldn't you?
When you're in the room with the architect, it basically does that many worlds theory, and it's all the different reactions that Neo has had over the times that this has happened. Basically, the system goes into a reboot and basically restart. The end of the Matrix is basically Neo going through with the reboot phase again. They're putting him back into the Matrix and it going full circle. So it's like a computer system. Everything goes around in circles. So that's the whole point of it.
Yeah.
And we're just in a simulation that keeps getting deeper and deeper every time they reboot it. But it's the same sort of thing. They could do it technically and do it that way if they wanted to. Yeah. But he's just a Neo from another system. Neo's just a code name at the end of the day. It's somebody within the system always ends up being the one that breaks the system. Someone always breaks free of it.
I think my difficulty will be, and this only comes from going back and rewatching it because they're all on Netflix at the moment.
Yeah.
And I forgot how young they all were in that first Matrix film. Like Neo, like Keanu Reeves, literally looks like he's straight out of Bill and Ted. Like
Fresh off of Speed.
he is
Fresh off of Speed,
really, really young. And I just think Will Smith isn't young anymore. And I think if they were gonna do it, they should have done it before. I think now it's just I don't know if it would have the same effect.
What if Will Smith is playing the Morpheus style role? What if he's going to be the guy that frees them all or something? That could be cool.
Like Lawrence Fishburne is like well young in it. Like he's still well young in it. Like you watch the kung fu scene, you know the bit where he first learns I know kung fu. Like you know that they look like they could do it. Like you know they're like it's not unbelievable. Even though it's like this is not about how strong I am or how fast I am. All those kind of. But it still looks believable. Whereas kind of you get somebody that's kind of 50 pushing 60, it's kind of like I don't know.
It's interesting because Keanu said this week or last week, I think he was being interviewed, and he was asked about another John Wick film, and he said it's getting physically impossible for him to do some of the moves or the action, and it does look a bit silly the older you get, I guess.
Yeah.
I'd
much rather. I think if they were going to reboot it, which it's a franchise that they could quite easily reboot, they would have to just go for a lot of hard reboot and just recast new people and just hope for the best, I suppose.
Thing is, they don't even need to do a recast or a rethink. Just tell a story from within the Matrix without Neo. Just do another Matrix story because that's the. Well, as soon as you introduce Neo, he's the God character, and then you're going through that path of the one and all that crap. I'd rather see the agents being badasses that can kill you. And they're physically scared of them because that is the joy of the first film. It's not until the very end that he even gets these full power, is it?
Yeah.
The whole film they are running from those guys and having to do the whole over the they're jumping over the rooftops and stuff. It's awesome.
But I think the Matrix 2 missed a trick because obviously in the Matrix 2 you're then introduced to the other ships and the other teams and stuff, and they're all, like you say, they're all going into the Matrix and doing their things themselves. And I just think they missed a trick by not just doing some kind of spin-off where it like follows a different team, like you're saying,
the tribe,
different team, different crew. And then they can reference all these characters because obviously they're out there in the universe and they can speak to them on the radio and the comms and that kind of stuff.
They kind of did with the Animatrix, which gave you another story of Niobe and thing, and then they kind of gave you the Enter the Matrix video game at the time, which followed the path of Niobe, and I forgot his name.
That was such a good
game.
That was such a good game. I just couldn't put it down. But for me, like it reminds me as well because obviously bullet time was like a big thing, wasn't it? The way that they did all that. And do you remember the Max Payne games?
Yeah.
That had the bullet time aspect to it as well. Why are more films not using this? Like this, it's just
because it's instantly, as soon as you do it, it's like when Shrek did it. It's instantly a joke of Neo, isn't it? It's instantly a 90s gimmick joke.
But you know what? When I played the Max Payne games, I didn't once think, "Oh, I'm playing the Matrix." Like it was just very cool, like gameplay, you know. But I don't know. I'm a Matrix fan. At the end of the day, you can just see my little Neo hand poking out of my. He's just there, just there, like doing it.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I'm a Matrix fan. I just don't know if I'm here for.
I am a Matrix fan, but I have to say I'm a lazy cinema goer. And what I mean by that is I like to be entertained and I don't always like to think too much. And the Matrix, as it got more and more into it, started to make my head hurt. And I didn't know what was happening. And I was there just for the pretty lights and the fighting. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't want it to be too complicated. If they redo it, give us a pretty standard, straightforward story that I can understand.
Yeah. Give us a toned down, easy one to follow.
At the time, that film was meant to be very thought-provoking, and when you look back now, it's quite dated. But at the time, that was genuinely the fear of tech people.
Oh yeah, well, the first one came out in like 1999, and if you even to the extent where you look at the kind of tech that they use, and like he's on his internet, and it's like proper like dial-up mode.
Dial-up. EOL. Yeah.
What cracks me up is that there's a scene early on where he's kind of selling information or whatever. So it's the White Rabbit bit, you know, where the geezer turns up, and he gets a shoebox out, and he's got like mini discs. He gets this mini disc out and like gives it. Oh, it's all on there. It's like, oh, cool, this is great. Like, and I was like, wow, this is and the phones, like obviously they're it's like, yeah, it's. Can you imagine just throwing an iPhone into that original Matrix film and just like blow it up? But that's it's all good. It's all good. Didn't they turn into sisters?
Yeah, the Wachowski brothers are now the Wachowski sisters.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. So maybe they'll come out with something new. Who knows? But yeah, there we go.
I think out of all of those films we've just talked about, Independence Day is still the one that I think. I can't remember the last time I had a good alien invasion kind of movie. I'd love another Mars Attacks, but would I? Can you beat that perfection? That cast, do you know what I mean? I don't think you can you?
Peak. I think that would remaking that would just be too much. And it's Tim Burton and
but an alien invasion.
Face kid.
Yeah, one of his first roles, I think, wasn't it, Jack Black?
It was.
But an alien invasion kind of flying saucer type movie, I don't feel like I've seen it on the big screen for a long time. Because I saw Independence Day at the theatre, and that scene where the White House goes, special effects for the time, that was freaking amazing. Amazing. And I don't think I've seen something like that since.
See, the Signs for me was a really good alien film. That to me, it was that scene where they're watching it on the news and you see the alien walk past the fence at the party. It still kind of messes with me. But
Scary Movie ruined that for me.
Scary Movie did ruin it. And I really had high hopes for what was it, Nope? Because that was supposed to be.
That was meant to be. Yeah, it was such a disappointment.
The trailers for it looked incredible, and I was like, "This could be the next big alien movie." And then it was aliens eating horses and pooing them out, and it was just like, "No, this isn't." The scariest bit about that was the whole monkey thing.
The monkey bit, which I didn't really understand what that was linked to. But yeah, the Nope for me was rather disappointing, I have to say.
But yeah. Jack Allison said, I think Arrival was the last big movie about aliens landing, but that became more about the human character. Yeah, very true. Very true. But no, they do need another big alien invasion film. That would be cool.
I think they're scared to release one, mate. I think that's the thing.
Because it's all too real nowadays.
Well, yeah. It was. I mean, can you imagine if the US government would have come out 10 years ago and said, we have a flying saucer and we're working on redoing its technology or whatever? The fact that the American government released that last year and nobody batted an eyelid scares the crap out of me. How bad is our world got that we've gone? By the way, aliens up there, we've all gone, yeah, mate, we're dealing with something else. What?
Yeah.
When's the next 90s kid? That's mind-boggling news.
The next Harry Potter
it's not real.
But one thing that I did enjoy alien-wise was what's it called? American Horror Stories. Did you see that? The black and white alien American Horror Stories. So American Horror Story is obviously the anthology series, whatever. But then they did like a spin-off show called American Horror.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of them. I don't remember the alien one.
Yeah, so this was like a double feature. So I think the first 4 episodes are one story, and then the next 4 episodes are another story. But the second part of it is all black and white, based in the kind of 1940s Roswell era. And the concept of what is going on with the aliens and how it works was really quite not scary, but the concept was quite scary in comparison. There we go. Jack Addison said the chimp bit in Nope was based on a true story about a pet chimp that mauled a woman, nothing to do with aliens.
Yeah.
There you go.
Stephen Butler there has just commented, if I can just do a shameless plug, I've got a video coming out about V in probably the next 4 or 5 weeks, a look back at the original V series. That, for me, Stephen, was one of the best series, the original I'm talking about. Although I have to say the remake was pretty good as well. But the original mini-series was phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. I remember being freaked out by that when they were eating gerbils and things, and Freddy Krueger freezes his arm off. I think, no, does he freeze part of his arm off? He goes in and saves someone, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Just an amazing series. It dropped the ball massively when it went to V, the TV series, and you had the lizards getting married and shit like that. It was like what? But the original miniseries was amazing.
Didn't work.
Hmm.
Right. John said, "Have you seen No One Will Save You on Disney Plus?"
I've heard about it, but I haven't seen it. I've seen some trailers for it, but it looks great.
Yeah, I might have to give that.
I think the review. I'm ashamed to say this. Don't judge us. I think they reviewed it on Gogglebox, and I watched that and thought, oh, this looks interesting. So yeah, I'll have to go and check that one out. But it looks interesting. It looks good.
Oh, cool. That's our time. We're at the end of the show already, guys. That's like flown by. So, did you get 3 of 2 cans, or did you just stick to one?
No, I got through both. Don't worry about that. It's all right. I've started on the coffee now. We're all good.
That's right. That's good. So there we go. That's
talk about. We barely even touched on 2025. We've just geeked out for the last 90 minutes about films.
we started and then it just went. So
we always have good intentions and it just veers off into some abyss.
We'll continue this at some point in 2025. But Pete is here. Pete Triple G Comics is obviously part of the team, so he'll be back with us next week. We're going to announce a couple of shows in advance and get them linked up so you guys know what is coming. Anything you guys want to add before we kind of round up? Anything going on this week that keep people
I've got a show on Tuesday night at 9 o'clock with my pal Efren, where we're going to be talking about comic books that are coming out in the next few months. So recommending some comic books. And then on Friday, I've got One Good Scare show at 9 o'clock over on the other channel where I'll be talking all horror news.
Amazing. Before we leave, I'm gonna run the announcement video one more time before our end credits, just for everyone's viewing pleasure. For everyone that has tuned in and joined in on the chat, thank you very much for being here. Tried to jump in on some of the comments. If we've missed you, we do apologise. But if you are watching us on Catch Up, Mr. Sorrell, what do they need to put in the chat?
# Catch Up Crew.
Amazing. Is there anything dodgy you want to make anybody put if they're watching all the way through? No, we'll do it next week.
My mind's not working well tonight. Don't do this to me. Don't put me on the spot tonight of all nights.
We'll do it next week. Okay, we're going to run the announcement video one more time just so you can see all them celebrity appearances, because it cost us an arm and a leg to obviously pull all those in. And just watch for Nick Cage's hostage video is the best one. Thanks very much, everyone, for tuning in. We'll be back next week, episode 187. This was the Geek Week. Till then, keep it geek.
The following announcement is brought to you by the Geek Week. Please stay tuned and don't touch that dial.
Hello. So are you listening? Good. So we have some big news to announce.
The Geek Week has been going strong now for 186 episodes, which is pretty good, right? Well, that news makes me feel all warm and fuzzy on my naughty area.
Since the start, we have had countless guests from various different social media channels and toy brands. Some have even returned for a second, and in some cases, even a third appearance.
Ryan, as in Ryan Speaks Geek, he even stayed on as a third host for around a year. He was referred to as our good friend Ryan.
After his departure, Jacob's Toys and SuperSorrell continued as they started, as a dynamic duo, each week focusing on a different subject or hosting even more guests.
And we really have to firstly thank you, the followers and the fans, for tuning in each week, joining in the conversation and helping the show grow.
But as a new year approached, they both agreed that something else was needed. The show needed to move to the next level, and so something new was needed.
Ooh, this is the exciting part.
So what could they add to help the show grow? Would have to be something good, right?
Or someone good. Someone to join the team as a new host, a full-time member and official part of the Geek Week.
So it is our pleasure and our privilege to say that we have found that person. He is someone that regular viewers will recognize from his various appearances in the past.
We are proud to welcome none other than Triple G Comics to the team as our new third host.
Wow, that's just swell. Triple G, I love that guy. Mixed with these two is just going to be great.
Triple G Comics, officially part of the Geek Week as a third host? Oh, I'm touching myself tonight.
So here it is, the all-new Geek Week. Let the games begin.
So there you have it. Your new official lineup for the Geek Week from 2025 onwards: Jacob's Toys, SuperSorrell, and Triple G Comics.
Yeah, okay, you guys, I'll admit that this is pretty cool.
game over, man. It's game over. Like, share, subscribe, don't miss out.